number of slots available. The Youth Parliament will now consider the third motion of the day and the last of the morning session relating to job opportunities as printed on the order paper. To move the motion, I call Mr. Mohammed Abbas Hanif.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members of the Youth Parliament, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. How many of us are really prepared at 16? How many employers really want to employ 16-year-olds in the current economic climate? By giving young people just 2 extra years of school or training, we are giving them breathing space. An extra 2 years to gain additional skills. An extra 2 years to prepare, but most importantly, protecting them from a possible 2 years in the dole queue. Why throw 16-year-olds out in the cold economic climate right now, when we can do something about this? That is why I support raising the school and training leaving age to 18 immediately. The school and training leaving age is rising to 18 in England by 2015. However, today opportunities for young people are decreasing month by month. Cuts have been implemented everywhere. Young people are finding it difficult to get jobs or even internships because older or more educated people are taking them. The Office for National Statistics shows that there are currently 742,000 18 to 24-year-olds who are unemployed. Some may say that school isn't for everyone and that not everyone is an academic. But let me ask you something. Who said you have to put your head into books for another 2 years? Who said you have to revise for exams for another 2 years? You can do practical apprenticeships and part-time education or training if you are employed, self-employed, or volunteering for more than 20 hours a week. As we heard last week at this very dispatch box, we are losing another 490,000 jobs. Is that fair? Is that fair for a 16-year-old to leave school knowing that 490,000 jobs are being cut and his or her chances of securing a career has become even more difficult? Isn't it better for them to be guaranteed a chance to learn academically or practically for another 2 years and possibly have a stronger case to gain a job when the economy has recovered? The extra 2 years also gives the government time to source more jobs for those who intend to leave education at 18. This way, young people have time to build up more academic or practical skills to start a career, be it trainee accountant or a painter and decorator. Work experience is another major factor. 1 week's work experience is not enough for young people today to decide which course they want to choose and possibly turn into their future career. Work experience provides invaluable experience. It provides people to learn directly about working life. It also allows them to put theory from school or college into practice. I believe we need more work experience. Some people may say that 16 and 17-year-olds should have the right to choose to go into work or stay in school or training. The simple answer to that is, how in this climate will a 16-year-old be able to find a job? There are so many others fighting for the same job, but with the education and the experience. Being unemployed at such a young age has a huge psychological and long-term impact. Do we really want this for our young people? This isn't about me or you. This is about us. We need to stick together and work on the bigger picture, getting our young people the best possible start in life in really tough times. I believe that staying in school or training until 18 is the way forward. Thank you very much.
Mohammed, thank you for that splendid and articulate speech to open our debate. Just before I call the second speaker to oppose the motion, I'd like to mention that Jim Dobbin, my parliamentary colleague from the North West, from, if memory serves me, Haywood and Middleton, is present, and behind him, looking suitably self-effacing as he invariably does, is the honourable gentleman, the member for Aldridge Brownhills, Mr. Richard Shepherd. So I hope you welcome him. And last, but most definitely not least, I think lurking behind the chair is the honourable gentleman, the member for Bolsover, Mr. Dennis Skinner. And I want very warmly to welcome Dennis because he's a parliamentarian who's always spoken his mind without fear or favour on every subject. And if memory serves me correctly, he entered the House on June the 18th, 1970, and he has served without interruption since, for 40 years, 4 months and 11 days. He's a very senior member. Dennis, you're very welcome. Please give us all a wave.
Straight from the coalface.
Straight from the coalface, as Dennis has just said to me. Thank you, Dennis, for being with us and giving your encouragement. You know, Tony Benn, who retired from the House in 2001, famously said that, and not that Dennis is old, I hasten to add, he'd get very angry if I said he was old, but Tony Benn famously said, the only purpose of the old is to give encouragement to the young. So there we are. To oppose the motion, I call Mr. Adam Osmond.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity for everybody here to get a new Facebook profile picture. Alan Sugar, Richard Branson, Delia Smith. 3 people who built themselves up from nothing. 3 people who worked hard for what they wanted. 3 people who got where they wanted to be. But what do all of these people have in common? They all left school at 16. I'm not for 1 minute, though, suggesting that everyone should go out and get a job when they're 16, because we all know that the jobs are simply not out there. The point is, everyone should have a conscious choice to continue with education or get a job at 16. Nobody should be forced into education against their will. That's a presumption that, frankly, originates from the Dark Ages. It will cost £60 million to keep everybody in education until they're 18, and in a time of cuts, that's ludicrous. Education is not for everyone. And I appreciate it has been said already that this motion does not just include education, but training and apprenticeships as well. However, it must be said that with the loss of the Connections service in most local authorities due to the cuts announced last week, it will be harder than ever to find these placements. The work Connections did to get young people into apprenticeships and training is invaluable and will be sorely missed. Because of this lack of support to young people, job opportunities will be lost and youth unemployment will rise. And these people who would have left and found a job at 16 will be forced to stay in school and possibly become a disruptive influence in the classroom. There is a boy in my area. Nice little plug. His father is the owner of a local sweet shop. The boy helped out with his father in his shop and has done for generations, as generations have gone before. When he turned 16, his father was taken ill and could no longer work. Under the motion put before you today, he could not take this business on. Are we really saying we wish to see this family sweet shop and other businesses sold out because at 16 he has to be in education and is clearly not mature enough to run a business? Nowadays, employers increasingly prefer to take on workers who have ample work experience needed to do the job. So by rising the age to 18, you will have 2 years less work experience compared to somebody who left at 16. For what? A few extra qualifications, not always relevant to your profession, when life experience is more valuable than anything. Extend this to the end of university, you will have 6 years less work experience than a graduate of the same age. What does the graduate have? A 2-2 degree in Klingon, a £40,000 debt, and they're unemployed. How does keeping a young person out of the system for 6 years solve our nation's youth unemployment crisis? The answer, it doesn't.
I'm looking to call people from parts of the country that so far have been slightly underrepresented in the debate, and beginning with Wales. Somebody from Wales who wants to speak. Young man there, please.
Josh Daniels, Pen-y-Bont ar Awgwr, Cymru, Bridgend, Wales. Given today's economic climate, this country does not have the money to fund qualifications to some people who, to be frank, don't want them. There are some people who are quite happy to leave school at 16 and go work in a shop. There are some people who are quite happy to settle down, have a family, and live on job seekers' allowance for the rest of their lives. I don't see how these qualifications are going to benefit them. It is a total waste of money.
Thank you, members of the Youth Parliament. I see we've been joined by the Honourable Member for Birmingham Edgbaston, Gisela Stewart. Give us a wave, Gisela, so everybody knows you're here. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm looking to call someone from the West Midlands. Yeah, young man there at the end who's just had his hand up. Yeah, thank you.
Manraj Manda, NYP for Birmingham. Following a recent survey conducted by young NYPs in Birmingham, we found that 1 in 3 young people feel that they don't receive enough support from the education system. Is it right that we fail these young people for an extra 2 years? I think you'd all agree that education now become about passing exams. It's can you digest the revision guide and reproduce it on the exam day. We need to change this and change education so that we're producing rounded young people that have got the necessary skills to go into employment, to go to university, and only then can we meet society's demand and take our education system into the 21st century.
I'm looking for someone from London. Hands up, somebody from London. Yes, the young woman there. Yes, your good self. Thank you.
My name is Gloria Boache and I represent Waltham Forest in London. Ladies and gents, can we take into consideration that the government would like to cut and lessen people that get into university, as well as that they are now hiring the age to 18 for people to stay in school? What are they doing? They are only contradicting themselves. They want people to go and stay in education until 18. However, they want to cut down the people that get into university. And at the end of the day, the people that get that extra qualifications and get into university have a debt on their shoulders. With cutting with lowering or with hiring the age of job opportunities, who's going to get a job to pay that much debt off? Wouldn't they want to start at 16? Because as everyone says, education is not for everyone. Some people want it and some people don't. Internships and job opportunities and work experience is needed for people, whereas academics and education to get your heads in the books is needed for others. So can we think about this wisely? Hiring it to 18, wasting money, and saying how people cannot go into university when they want to learn, and how the lady back at the bench said that she actually wants to learn not to get a career, but to learn and get her degree. Can we take this into consideration, please? Thank you.
I'm looking to call someone from the east of England. Who's from the east of England? Yes, young woman there. Actually, you deserve to be called because I called you earlier, but someone else thought that I was calling them. So go ahead.
Holly Abbott from Thurrock. I'd like everyone to consider that the motion is not to keep everybody in lessons until they are 18. It is to keep them in education, not necessarily in books. We can have apprenticeships, work experience, working with books and alongside job opportunities. Not everybody knows what they want to do at 16. I'm fortunate I know what I want to do at 16. But not everybody does. Keeping them in education for 2 more years might help them to gain an idea of what they might want to do when they're older. Plus, with the rising university fees that the government is insisting on, would it not help to get more qualifications that may help you to get a better job in the future?
Thank you. Yorkshire and Humberside. Yes, Yorkshire and Humberside. Sir, let's hear from you.
I think not everybody's capable to stay on after the 16. Oh, Nick Brewer from Yorkshire and Humber.
Thank you.
It's not everybody's capable to stay on the extra 2 years. I think the focus of it is they've got to have the right, they've got to make the choice whether they want to, whether it's right for them, which because of the cuts and the loss of the connections in most parts of the UK due to the cuts, it's going to hinder their choice to decide whether they want to stay or not.
What about someone from Northern Ireland? Northern Ireland, the young man here has been patiently waiting.
Alex Houston from East Belfast in Northern Ireland. I think it's an absolute disgrace that people are sitting here saying that I should be dictated to and told I have to leave school at 18. If I want to leave school at 16, I should be entitled to. If you raise the age to 18, then how long till it raise to 21? And then the tuition fees thing, what's that going to happen to that? We live in a state where every move is controlled and watched. And the thought of controlling our education even more is an absolute disgrace. Thank you.
Now, how about somebody from the East Midlands? Yes, the young woman here from the East Midlands. Yes, indeed, you.
Ashley Wellen from East Midlands. Personally, I think that making the age to 18 will benefit the statistics involved with youth unemployment.